Riverside.
What's up, everybody? It's 2 o'clock. It is a Monday here in the Bullpen. I'm Tony Mack. That, of course, is Tricky Ricky. We are live here at the beautiful, palatial Toyota Field.
The Palacious?
Is that the
Palatial, I believe is what
Palatial?
it is.
Palatial?
I don't
Palatial?
know what the word means, but I've heard a palatial estate
palatial
said
sounds
about
right.
a house before. I'd never heard it as palacious.
There's a word palatious. What does that mean?
Containing palacity. Oh, palace-like. Palacious.
There you go. Palatial, like a palace. Magnificent.
Palatial. See, palacious, not a thing. Palatial.
All right.
Welcome to this. And now I've said the word so many times it doesn't feel like it's a word
not a
anymore.
word.
I've got to the. I went to the dead zone. Palatial. Welcome to the palatial. I got nothing. That's hard. The palatial.
Welcome to the ball field.
Hey, there you go.
Your Toyota Field. We got you for an hour, and we've got plenty to react to. There was quite a bit that happened over the weekend in the world of sport. So, I mean, we had college basketball that did not go the way of the SEC. We had AFC and NFC championship games. We had, I know you guys don't care about the NBA, but the best reaction I think I've ever seen from a non-foul call. We
Incredibly
have
palatious.
so much
Incredibly.
to react to. So, first and foremost, I hope you all are doing well. I know it's been a while since we've been on the pod. Ricky, I hope you're doing well. You ready to get into it, man?
Nah. Not for real.
What are you doing? We got an hour to fill. What do we...
All right, I'm ready now.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we
Sorry.
go. First and foremost, the Alabama baseball tickets against MTSU, they went on sale. Every Monday we kind of have a meeting about who's doing what, where we are with tickets. The Alabama tickets, you could like pre-order groups and stuff, was at a certain number, and then this morning we came in and that number was about 2,000 more than what it was before.
Yo, that was surprising. There's a lot of folks out there looking for tickets to these SEC baseball games coming to the palatial estate that is Toyota Field.
That's right.
As a face looks at me over here in the glass, they heard the news about the Auburn and the Alabama games, and by God, people in the other room are going, I need more information. Well, the spot to get it is right here, and I'm going to give it to you, okay? Tickets are on sale. Tony Mack, you're absolutely right. TrashPandasBaseball.com. The same way you get tickets to a Trash Panda game, you can get tickets to this Alabama and Auburn game, one of which, February 21st, we are officially 22 days away from Auburn coming down here, and in March 28th for Alabama. So the end of each of these months right here going to feature a little baseball. As Tony Mack said, tickets moving a little fast.
We got high school baseball coming up in the month of March as well. So a lot of baseball, a lot of preliminary baseball before we get to the Trash Pandas. So we got you covered here. We do a lot of events, a lot of things. One thing we do really well here, baseball. So we're going to have plenty of that here in the next couple months. Also, if you're looking and you want to get some tickets to the Alabama game or the Auburn baseball game, keep in mind, if you want one of our event spaces, or if you're bringing 20 or more people, you qualify for these added benefits. That qualifies as a group. So if that's the case, don't just go online. Don't just call the front office. Call one of us. Call me, call Ricky, call anybody in the sales team. We'll hook you up and make sure that you're a group and you get these added benefits during that game so you can kind of maximize all the people that you want to bring out. You can do that. Hit me up at Tony Trash Panda on Twitter. DM me. You can get any of my information from me there. I'll hit you up with my email and all that stuff. In the meantime, while you guys are taking care of that, we've got, this is topics. We got quite a bit of them. Which one you want to cover first? You want to go into some basketball? You want to go into some football?
I want to go into football.
Okay, well, let's get started.
Super wild card divisional championship weekend.
Yeah, the news of the weekend obviously comes from Georgia. Stetson Bennett got arrested.
Oh, that's not the football I was wanting to talk about. That's just...
Have you read the story?
I heard that old Stetson got a bit boozed up, went running around, knocking on doors, going, I'm a champion, I'm the best. Yeah, goes, get them dogs, that kind of stuff. What actually happened?
He was running around knocking on doors. It says 7:10 a.m. Central Time or Eastern Time, so it would have been 10 Central Time. It happened in Texas, so I would imagine they're also running on Central Time.
There's really no way to tell.
I don't know.
There's no
I have
way.
no idea.
I mean, reasons.
So it's like 6 a.m. He's running around knocking on people's doors. You know how loaded you have to be to still be running around knocking on doors at 6 a.m.?
I do.
I don't think I've ever been loaded. Like, I'm well past that party stage now. Of course, Stetson's probably closer to our age than he is college kids' ages nowadays.
Yeah.
But I mean, even back in my heyday, man, I'm 2 o'clock.
Tell me about your heyday there, Pops.
Well, stuff closes at like 2 a.m. You're going home.
See, back in my day, things used to close. Now all these kids are running around. Everything's 24 hours. They're ticking. They're talking. I can't keep up to it, man. Back in my day, which was like 8 years ago, man,
Like,
things
more
were
like 8 weeks.
Man, yeah, I know, right? I was being generous. Back in my day, let me tell you, oh, God, it was the summer of 2021. Everyone was wearing masks on their heads. You didn't know if this was open, that was closed, who was coming, who was going. But by God, we made do. And we sure as heck didn't go running around knocking on doorknobs. That's not what I do, but that's what Stetson Bennett does. And he's a 2-time champ, so you know what? Whatever.
Yeah, but he was doing it in the wrong neighborhood, dude. If this was going down,
Is there a right neighborhood? Is there a right neighborhood?
Well,
Get
yeah,
all liquored up and start banging on doors?
If it was in somewhere around Athens, Georgia, then yeah, probably better than I don't know, Denton, Texas.
I think if you did it in Georgia, people would be pretty pumped. Like if I were,
Right.
like you'd be so mad. You'd be like, "Who's beating on that door? I swear to God, I'm on a couch." Oh, hey, baby, it's the quarterback. Cool.
You want some pancakes?
You
French
say,
toast?
hey, you want some French toast? What are you doing? Come on in here. 'Cause you're
But
drunk. You
he
need
was
something.
he was doing it like in close proximity to Texas or TCU. Like he was in their neighborhood.
It's Horace's house. This is my house. This is my house now. I bought your house because I'm the champ and you're nothing.
Over there in Dallas. Yeah, so it was over there close to TCU.
I licked a hypnotoad about 3 hours ago, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know where I am right now. Go dogs. Woo!
The best thing to come from this though.
I bet he was at a dog park at some point just yelling at dogs, going, "Oh, yeah, you ain't no dog. I'm a dog. You're just a dumb dude. You're just a stupid dog."
What'd you say?
You know, we eat W's. You over there eating your own poop. Get out of here, dumb dog. This is my house.
The best thing to come from this, though, is how many people fell for the fake video that was out there. There's a troll Twitter account called Tattoo of Baker Mayfield. He's a big Oklahoma fan. I've had a few run-ins with him before. Awesome account. Love this guy. And he tweeted the video of Baker Mayfield getting leveled by the Arkansas police officer from 2017. It's almost been 6 years now, from 2017. And he tweeted it and said it was Stetson Bennett's arrest video. And everybody already forgot that Baker got arrested and thought that was a real video. News outlets picked it up. Articles were being written with that video in there. And this morning, just the cherry on top, I was on my way in, and I was listening to Mac and Cube like I do every morning. Greg McElroy and Cole Kubelik, and they were talking to Paul Feinbaum. They talk to Paul Feinbaum every Monday. And at the end of the interview, Paul Feinbaum stops him like before he's over. He's like, "Hey, but before I go, did you guys see the video of Stetson Bennett getting arrested?"
Oh, wow.
He said, "Did you see?" Yeah, I mean, he was like, who's the police? He's like, obviously. He said, obviously Stetson wasn't running full speed. but the police officer, great form tackle, and their producer had to step in and go, "Hey, Paul, actually, that was Baker Mayfield's video from 6 years ago."
You can't trust a single thing on the internet, man.
He got Paul Feinbaum.
I know when I saw that video, I said there's no chance Stetson Bennett got speared by two cops.
There is no chance. And also, you probably could have come to that conclusion had you watched the rest of the 30-second video, because it clearly at the end shows a close-up of Baker Mayfield.
I didn't even watch the whole video. In fact, I saw the video, was like, whatever. And then I didn't realize till a few days later that was actual video of Baker Mayfield, who I didn't know got arrested like that. So I was brought into the world of like, oh, hey, look, Baker Mayfield. I didn't know that happened.
You didn't know he got speared by a police officer?
I had no idea.
That was right before his Heisman Trophy season. That was like February of 2017 or March or something.
And it honestly explains why he's had so much trouble with his shoulders.
And what's great about this now is people are still falling for it, and it says this is the arrest video of Baker Mayfield from March 10th, 2017.
Twitter teached me today. Twitter taught me. Well, it didn't teach me much. Twitter taught me today.
Yeah.
Because it did tell me that little tidbit, and I was like, well, I'll be. Baker Mayfield got speared by a cop in 2017. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And people were buying it and actually believing it was Stetson Bennett.
Hey, how about...
They got Paul Feinbaum.
You can get anybody nowadays, you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. I think we should try it.
Oh, I feel like we could probably get somebody. Their guard's up right now, though, so we can't do it yet.
Next time an athlete gets arrested, we need to stage a video and see if we can get it going.
What kind of video are we staging?
Just, get a couple people that work security here at the games. We get a dark setting so nothing can be sure on who's who. And we just film someone getting tackled. Oh, my gosh, did you see the new Josh Allen arrest tape? It's nuts.
I mean, football players get arrested all the time. So.
Quarterbacks are losing their minds, man. Did you see it?
All right, so that wasn't the football you wanted to talk about.
No, I wanted to talk about the games that were played.
Yeah, so one of them was a stinker. That was the early game.
Can I just start off by saying I was so excited for super wild card divisional championship weekend.
That's not a thing.
Building to the crescendo that has been the super wild card weekend trilogy.
That's not even what you said the first
Building
time.
up to where we were yesterday. A crescendo of 4 teams that absolutely all deserve to go to the Super Bowl. Whoever ends up there, it's going to be beautiful no matter what. But they got to earn it here on the field, and we get to watch it, and it's going to be great. And the Niners, Eagles led that off, and 90% of that game was unwatchable. Brock Purdy gets hurt on a little slap of the wrist thing. He hurts his elbow. He can't nerve damage. He can't grip the ball. He can't throw it. As you know, he's already the third stringer. Josh Johnson comes in there. He's played for like half the league. I can't believe he's still an NFL quarterback with all of the teams that have signed him and then cut him and then given him a chance to play and then cut him after that. Those guys just hang around. Josh Johnson is probably like Chase Daniel. He's a nice dude. People like him. And you're only going to have to rely on him for like maybe a game a year. So, all right, you got a job.
I also think his most likable quality was probably that he was available. Because, I mean, realistically, when did they get him? There's no way he's been on that team all year, right?
Probably since Purdy became starter when they had to find another quarterback to become his backup.
Right. There's no way it's been recent because
no, he's probably been on 4 different teams this year. I wouldn't doubt it, going from practice squad to practice squad.
He was signed on December 4th.
Yeah.
And yes, he was with the Broncos before that.
And then even when he was in the game, it's like, well, guy's been around for a while. It's not like we got a rookie in there. I mean, he's a guy that's, no one is ever going to look at the amount of teams he's been on. There's a list longer, I think, than the list of actual teams. I think he's played on so many multiple teams that he might have been on more than 32 squads, if that makes any sense.
This is at least the fourth time he's been with the Niners.
Yeah, maybe he is over 32. If he's already got 4 with the Niners, I know he's been with the Bucs a few times. He's traveled around. But even with him, it's like, at least he's a quarterback. Then he gets sent to the locker rooms. And then we get to watch a game where the 49ers, even though being down by multiple scores, can't even fight to get – that's the worst thing about this. They couldn't even fight to try to make it a game. They just had to sit there and hand the ball off over and over again. What a painful – slow, boring way to watch a great season, a 12-game win streak, all go straight down the toilet.
Only
102 plays.
164 yards of offense total. And the Eagles only had 269. This was one of those games where I thought, even with Brock Purdy, that the Eagles were going to show that finally the 49ers weren't overwhelmingly the better team all around, because that's kind of been why they've been winning so much with Brock Purdy. Isn't that Brock Purdy's come in and made a huge difference based on his talent. He's come in and not turned the ball over and let the rest of his team do their job, and the rest of his team is really, really, really good. The Eagles are too. The Eagles defense, they've got, 3 guys that have double-digit sacks this year, like at least 3 guys that have double-digit sacks. And Jalen Hurts, who's having an incredible season. Devontae Smith, who had an incredible catch that shouldn't have been a catch in that game on a critical 4th down early. They've got A.J. Brown. They've loaded up. It's a great roster that I thought that the Eagles this year were going to be a lot like the Niners. They were going to win games and get to the playoffs, not really because of Hurts, but because the rest of their team was so good. When in reality, you add in the fact that Hurts actually turned out to be really darn good this year. They're in the Super Bowl. I thought they were going to win this game anyway, but the Niners, even when Purdy went out, showed a little bit of resolve, and then it finally went away. Josh Johnson, before he got hurt, he did have that goof where he fumbled the snap.
Oh, my gosh. I've never seen a guy not want to catch a snap more in his life.
Fumbles the
snap. It's
snap.
Dead in the hands. He slaps it away, goes down, kitty cat like with a ball of yarn, plays with it, waits for other guys to get in there, and then the whole team crumbled in the first quarter, and they never regained it. And the whole time I'm sitting there, it's like you've got an entire fourth quarter where your quarterback can't throw, you can't do anything. And they still went with Brock Purdy handing the ball off. Like, I feel like last game of the year, you're already getting beat. you never want to get beat by a ton, but at that point, like everyone would totally understand. Just put Debo at quarterback.
Right, yeah.
Call a play in the huddle, Sandlot style. You run a slant, try this number. I'm going to go over here. And if it takes longer than 2 seconds, just start rolling towards me and we'll see what happens. Like, try anything but the slow death of halfback dive for like a quarter and a half. It started in the third, man. Where it's
slow
just,
death.
like, they're not even going to try something crazy and just hope it. Not saying that the 49ers with Debo Samuel at quarterback are going to go beat the Eagles at home in the NFC Championship game, but at least it was it would have been something.
Change it up, see if it works, because halfback dive over and over is not going to work.
Kentucky's been doing that for like 5 years in a row. They'll always get to a point where a wide receiver plays a game at quarterback, and they do all right. They
did a whole season with Lynn Bowden, and they went 8-4, I think.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it's been done. I mean, Lynn Bowden threw it like 8 times a game, and he was still able to like have a competent offense. Now, different level of skill, of course, but I don't know. Just
San Francisco finally answered the age-old question: how far down the quarterback depth chart do you have to go before you finally suck? And we finally saw the answer, and it's 4 deep apparently.
Yeah, you will never.
They went beyond that because Johnson got hurt, but they sucked before he got hurt. So.
Did you see that shot of Jimmy G on the sideline giggling and goofing around with people?
I fell asleep at halftime.
It didn't look good for old Jimmy G over there. Old James G. He's giggling and playing around. He's in his hoodie. And this game was sad for the Niners from the get-go.
I woke up. I fell asleep at halftime. My wife woke me up when the third quarter started. She said, "Hey, third quarter's on." I woke up and I was like, "Hey, is that Brock Purdy back in there?" Hand off to McCaffrey. I nodded off. Woke up at 5:15. Game was over. He's getting ready for the AFC Championship game. I was done with that one.
Did they diagnose what the deal with Purdy was? I mean, Terry Bradshaw was talking about nerves, which it had to have been some kind of nerve thing for him to still play but not throw the ball further. Like, you only threw one pass, and it was a screen 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage.
As far as I know, that's what I heard in the broadcast. That's all I saw. So I didn't see anything.
We got robbed of a great game, man. Yeah. So anticlimactic. And the thing is, too, when you look at quarterbacks in the league, like, the quarterback position's always kind of been looked at as a little lesser than as far as physically, being tough, like going there, getting your hits. You got the special jersey, people take it easy on you. But, like, look how durability, like a starter compared to, like, a guy like a Brock Purdy or Josh Johnson. Like, Jalen Hurts can squat like 600 pounds or whatever. Like, the dude's insanely tough. He runs the ball. He lowers his shoulder. He takes hits. He's the leader of the rugby scrum when they're in there and they need a 1 yarder. And, the guy's dealt with a little injury, but nothing too much. You get to some of these backups in playoff football, and it's like you just threw a regular person out there because they've got a time limit. I remember John Wolford for the Rams a couple of years ago.
Oh, man.
Played a playoff game, and he had like some completions, and he decided, all right, I'm an NFL quarterback now. I'm going to try to run outside the pocket and see what happens. And he was sent directly to the shadow realm. These guys that are starters in the NFL, man, like, it's a different kind. You got to be a tough dude to be durable and make it all year like that. And whenever you see those backups go in and get shelved immediately, it reinforces that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And who was it? The game I was thinking of that had where a really good playoff team got down to like their third string quarterback and didn't do anything. What was it? It was, I can't remember who it was, like who the quarterback was, but it was the Cardinals back when like 2014 or 2015. They were really good. Had a great record, and you thought, at least for part of the season, you thought they could go back to the Super Bowl, but then starter got hurt. And you're like, okay, here comes the backup, still winning games. Maybe they can still go to a Super Bowl, and then they're on their third string by the time the playoff rolls around. I can't remember who that guy was.
Was it Stanton? Played at Michigan State?
It may have been.
I think he was one of them.
That sounds familiar.
But I do remember that. Arizona was completely useless by the time they got to that third string guy. Was that the Warner years?
2015, right?
Did Leinart go down and then Stanton and then?
I want to say it was Leinart first, maybe.
Yeah, who were the quarterbacks?
Or it was Carson Palmer.
Drew Stanton. Yeah, I remember Drew Stanton got a lot of play at the end of the year. That's normally when the Cardinals would start to fall apart.
They went 13-3 that year with Carson, but that's not the year I'm thinking of. That's not it either. It may have been 2014. Yeah, they got 3 deep. I know they got 3 deep. It may have been that year, and I have to click on the playoffs to see.
Oh, I think that Ryan Lindley. I remember that.
They went 11.
Logan Thomas, the tight end who played quarterback at Virginia Tech, played a little quarterback that year too.
Yeah, Ted Ginn Jr. apparently had a pass. And so did Mario Grice? Grice? Marion Grice?
I don't know, but I remember those Ryan Lindley teams. Yeah, he went 0-2. That was a rough.
Yeah, they were 11-3. They were 5-3 with Stanton. Palmer came in and goes 6-0, and then he gets hurt, and then Lindley goes 0-2, and they go to the playoffs. Or maybe they missed the playoffs.
I think that's why a lot of teams don't carry third-string quarterbacks anymore. I think as a league we've realized.
We know our limits.
Past the second string, we don't have any more NFL-ready quarterbacks. We can throw a dude in there. Doesn't mean he should be there.
No, man. You go too deep, and then after that, you go emergency receiver at your quarterback. Start running some wing tee.
I saw a bunch of people posting. They were like, you need to have that emergency goalie rule like they have in the NHL. Do you know what that is?
I don't think I do.
I think I saw this a ton, and I feel like I've seen a game where this has been in effect. But if you have an NHL game and your goalies get injured to the point where you don't have a goalie, there's an emergency goalie on standby that plays in like the minor league or whatever, the regional team, and that dude's there just in case the goalie, I don't know, the goalies all took an Uber to the game and they got a flat tire.
Who are you signing as the emergency quarterback? For like the break in case of emergency.
Where was that game in Philly?
Yeah.
Donovan McNabb, dude. You know,
break in case of emergency. You break it. Oh, this guy's like 43.
I would have took a 55-year-old Donovan McNabb over a one-armed Brock Purdy.
Maybe.
And then that guy, like, no matter where, like, you could play on either team. You know, like, if your goalies go down, you have them. If our goalies go down,
all-time QB in this.
Your all-time QB. Yeah, I think that's I remember a few years ago, like, that guy got called on. I think he played. I don't know who he played for, but he came in there and played pretty well. Emergency goalie. We need emergency quarterbacks. Maybe Drew Brees. Drew Brees has been wanting to get in the game, but he doesn't want to do it full term, and he shouldn't. But
yeah, maybe you get the free agent quarterbacks that haven't signed with the team, but might be willing to sign a deal as the emergency quarterback for anyone, like a Cam Newton would be available.
It's like an attorney. We need to have quarterbacks on retainer in this league. A group of free agent quarterbacks that travel during playoff times to big games where it goes, well, heck, dude. Hey, the Niners about to put in Mitch Wishnowsky, the punter, at quarterback. Can we get one of those retainer QBs in here? And then Cam Newton pops out and goes, uh-oh, what's up? And then now you're like, whoa, we got a second half here, dude. Cam Newton and the Niners about to try something. Probably wouldn't end very well, but it'd give us a shot. Wouldn't give us a quarter and a half of running the ball down 3 touchdowns.
Speaking of Cam Newton, I've got a stat here to see if you can guess the third quarterback here. Quarterbacks to lead their team, Cole Kubelik tweeted this out yesterday, quarterbacks to lead their team in rushing touchdowns that actually made the Super Bowl. There are 3. Jalen Hurts this year, 2022.
Yeah.
Cam Newton in 2015. Who was the other?
Can I get a year?
1994.
Steve Young.
That's Steve Young. It's a pretty good class to be in. Cam Newton was an MVP that year.
It's pretty good.
Steve Young obviously had won, at least 1 or 2
I saw Jalen Hurts as the youngest starting quarterback.
Really?
Ever? Nah, that can't be right. Mahomes would have been, right?
I think.
Who knows?
So there was So Mahomes was in a graphic to be the youngest starting quarterback in an AFC Championship game. He was like the second or third youngest.
Yeah.
I want to say Big Ben was up there because he was only like 22 when he started.
That's right. He got in there like his rookie year.
Yeah, and then cost him the game, and Jerome Bettis got really upset, and they came back and won the Super Bowl the next year. So
yeah, I might have got fine bombed. I might have read some fake news on that. Oh, youngest QB in history to reach a Super Bowl, only 24 years old, 175 days.
Okay.
I did read that right.
He did. Well, I mean, that would make sense because, like I said,
in Eagles history is what it says here on the television broadcast. This tweet, well, Dove Kleiman right there. He's got NFL on his name. That's not good. That's a little misleading. But youngest, well, duh.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Eagles
have other guys.
They haven't been to many Super Bowls, right?
McNabb and Jaworski.
Well, they also won one with Nick Foles.
Oh, God, I forget about that one.
they actually won a Super Bowl, believe it or not.
Yeah, well, Nick Foles is already.
But he was old.
Definitely older.
He was like 28.
Jaworski, Nick Foles, McNabb.
That's got to be it, right?
If he goes back to the Super Bowl next year, he still would have been the youngest QB.
So
Alabama's own Jalen Hurts, though. Good to see.
And then you had the NFC champion or the AFC Championship game that lived up to the billing. It was a good football game. you knew going into it. I think that there was a stat that was like, even though Joe Burrow has beaten Kansas City 3 times, they trailed going into the fourth quarter in all 3 of those games. That's what happened last night, and immediately into the fourth quarter, they go score a touchdown, take the lead, or tie it up. It turned out to be a great, phenomenal fourth quarter, and the Chiefs ended up pulling it out. And there are several thoughts I had on this game. Number one would be, and we talked about this last week too, with people being oversaturated with Patrick Mahomes. That people feel like they're bragging on him for doing what every other quarterback does, and they're just constantly finding ways to brag on him, or you just feel like he gets bragged on too much. You see that all the time. People are oversaturated with Patrick Mahomes. Last night on a bum ankle, especially in the second half when it looks like that shot was wearing off, you could see why people brag about Patrick Mahomes. And I think Joe Burrow has kind of proven himself to be a top 2, top 3 quarterback in the NFL. But I think that there was no doubt, Patrick Mahomes left no doubt last night that he is still the king in the NFL when it comes to the quarterback position. That dude, I was pulling for the Bengals. And it's not that I don't like Patrick Mahomes. I like the Chiefs. I just want to see the Bengals finally win one because the Chiefs won one a few years ago. But I was pulling for the Bengals, and one of my best friends is pulling for the Bengals because he's an LSU fan, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And I had to stop him at one point. I'm like, look, I know I'm pulling for the Bengals, and I know Patrick Mahomes is hurt, but oh my God, do you see how good he is? And he was like, yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, he's awesome, dude.
It's unbelievable some of the plays he was making yesterday on that bum ankle.
On that gimpy leg, rolling to where he's having to put all the force on there. It goes back to that durability thing I'm telling you about.
You don't realize how, like, he's not one of the fastest guys in the NFL, but he's still NFL fast because he can get around the edge and get away from people. You put a normal, like you said, a third, fourth string guy back there, you start to realize real quick that Patrick's a lot faster than
Brock Purdy took a shot to here and couldn't feel his arm anymore. Patrick Mahomes got an injury last week, a high ankle sprain, that knocked Deebo Samuel out for a month. He was out a week. Not even out. He still kind of played, but unbelievable. I mean, the guy's a freak.
And he didn't just go in there and do his best. He went in there and played amazing football.
Yeah, if you're in the AFC and you're not the Chiefs or the Bengals, I think you're going to have a hard time getting to the Super Bowl in the next 10 years. It feels like this is the Brady-Manning meeting. Burrow being Manning. He's going to try to squeak out a few. He's got the players. He's a stud. Doesn't quite have the foundation behind him with the Bengals like the Chiefs have with Andy Reid and that group running the whole show there. I mean, it's a machine. So we're in for some good ones, but Mahomes, tip of the cap to him. It was like everybody before the national championship game. Hey, man, I think TCU's going to keep it close. I would never say anything like that because that's stupid.
Right. You don't
but
want to be
everyone
an idiot.
go, man, TCU, man, this Georgia team's not who we thought they were. This isn't the Georgia team from last year. And then you go watch the game and you go, yeah, we're dumb. We're dumb. That's greatness.
I made that mistake in week 1 of the college football season. And they blew Oregon out, and I was like, you know what? Georgia's good, and they're good. But, yeah, so – if the Bengals ever figure this offensive line situation out, they're going to be really good. I mean, it was just bad. Like last week, they were hurt, and they had 3 offensive linemen down, but Buffalo hasn't really had a pass rush since Von Miller went down. Well, that's completely different for the Chiefs. Chris Jones was disgusting in that game, and most of them were too. Everybody else played a pretty good game, but Chris Jones seemed to be everywhere. Crazy, unbelievable that was his first ever postseason sack he had yesterday. I think he had 2 in the game. That was his first ever postseason sack, is what they said. That's nuts. That is nuts. He's been in like 14 playoff games.
Yeah.
His first sack. But, I mean, he was incredible. That offensive line was rough. But, I mean, the Bengals still hung in there and still had a chance. I thought that game was about to go to overtime.
I did,
but
too.
It got down to Joseph Asai, which is number 2. You can't be that dumb. Now, your teammate probably shouldn't be heckling you about it on the way to the locker room. He should be a good teammate in the moment, which that Pratt guy wasn't. I can call you dumb because you were. In the moment, dude, and he got instant karma. Unfortunately, you saw him get hurt. Like, his knee, right after he pushed him, he took 2 steps. And his knee bent.
Yeah. Did that thing, snap in half? I didn't want to watch it back, but it looked kind of gross.
Well, my buddy was watching it. He kind of, when he saw him push, he went down to his phone because he knew he was going to get flagged. He's like, what is this idiot do? Now he's faking an injury. I was like, watch the replay. He's not faking it.
No,
and you see it, hyperextend. Ugh.
Yeah, you lose the game for your team and hyperextend your knee all in 1 second.
It was not. It was not good.
That's a bad place to be.
But,
I don't
I mean-
totally hate on Jermaine Pratt though for yelling in the tunnel.
I mean, I get it.
I'll give you to the locker room. I mean, you watch a rookie go out there and mess up your chance to go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Real hard to be a good teammate. I'm gonna be honest.
There you go, guys. I mean, that's
Dude, come on, it's hard.
that's exactly why. Even though that he played great for most of the game, you shouldn't draft Longhorns. Am I right? Am I right?
I didn't know that guy was a Longhorn.
No.
Pratt?
Joseph Asai
Oh, cool.
played at Texas.
Yeah.
So, but man, I mean, going out of bounds, that would have been like a 60-yard field goal.
It would have been. It wouldn't have been as easy.
It was only a
no
45-yard
doubt.
field goal, and it didn't. The
Yeah,
45-yarder didn't look that easy. The wind was blowing, and it barely went in.
Yeah,
You
Romo
back
said
that
on
thing
the
up, we're going
broadcast.
to overtime. He doesn't commit that penalty, we're going to overtime.
Butker's been a little iffy this year too. So if you gave him a real difficult kick, no guarantee that he makes it.
We're going to OT if he doesn't have that 15-yard. He could
See,
not
we got
believe
robbed
that he-
again, man. We got robbed again. Well, I went into Sunday thinking we're going to have 2 all-time classics, and I left Sunday going, all we're talking about is injuries in the first one, and all we're talking about is bad decisions, bad calls in the second one. Mm-hmm. Stinks. We got robbed.
I will also
I mean,
say,
how many times I am seeing nothing but people just ragging on the refs.
and they should, honestly, the fourth quarter, and I'm not here to say the refs blew it because the play they were mad at the most was a play where the Chiefs got to redo a third down and ended up not mattering because they punted on that drive anyway.
Right.
So it ended up not mattering, thankfully, but the officiating at best in the fourth quarter was so disorganized. They didn't know what the heck was happening. They stopped the play on third down while the other team was already punting on fourth down. They stopped it. Actually, we're going to replay that third down play because of the play clock or something. And then they were missing some pretty obvious holes. I don't pay attention to the offensive line stuff all that much unless I'm watching like Oklahoma football where I'm invested in every single player. Not really paying attention to that stuff. So when I'm watching two teams that I don't have like this dying love for, I'm not necessarily paying attention to every snap in the trenches, but I was still noticing obvious holds that they were calling against the Bengals that they should have, but then they're not calling it against the Chiefs in the fourth quarter. There's a clear block in the back right in front of the camera on the punt that set up the Chiefs' final drive in that great return. They didn't call. I'm like, well, this one's coming back, and you just never saw the flag. And then a late hit on Burrow that they didn't call. That was, by definition, a late hit. Burrow had already got rid of the ball. He's standing back there like this, gets hit in the chest, knocked on the ground. It was weird to see that when everyone thought the NFL script was going to be the Bengals in the Super Bowl. But then now they're complaining that the Chiefs got all the benefit of the doubt with the officiating. I will say, though, the officiating in that fourth quarter was not great. It's not very good.
Yeah, I think.
But
the
Joseph
NFL
Asai cost you that game.
Yeah, refereeing's bad. Though. I mean, that's a result of the NFL not putting any money into it, dude. I mean, why did we have the referee strike a few years ago? Because they wanted to get paid.
They made it to where they're full time now.
Yeah, but still, man, it's not. Why do you think so many refs leave and go to the announcer booth? It's a better job. You ain't got to hear any crap. You make more money. You're good. You stay an NFL ref, you got to deal with all their stuff. You're probably an independent contractor, or at least you were at one point. Maybe you're not now, but you're not getting the benefits of being like a full-time. We got $1 million athletes in here, but we're paying the refs as little as we possibly can, and we expect these things to go together, and we're all just going to be happy at the end. You're going to have bad refereeing. We've had bad refereeing all year. It's because our better referees are taking better jobs, and we're left with what's left, and the NFL doesn't do anything to invest or make it any better. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's fair. But at the end of that game, you said we kind of got robbed. I thought that game was still a phenomenal game.
It was still a great game, but even last year's AFC game or championship game, what were we doing? Bill should have got the ball one more time. We got to change the rules. I think we hate to watch a team lose. We hate to go to the Super Bowl and know that team's not going to play anymore. I think no matter what happens, we're sad. I think we just we argue out of sadness.
I hate that the Bengals won't be in it, but Joseph Asai cost that game. Well, not just the officiating. They had a chance to go to overtime there, and that late penalty cost them all those yards. But I will say this: it did give us one of my favorite post game moments I've ever seen, and that's Travis Kelce absolutely cutting a promo while holding the AFC Championship trophy. That was awesome. There's nothing else to say about that other than he's holding the trophy. It's a nice trophy, isn't it? Oh, yeah, I got some advice for that mayor over there in Cincinnati. Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
I wish he could have done it like The Rock used to. Be like, I wish that mayor over there in Cincinnati could take this NFC championship trophy, stick it up real high, shine it nice, turn that sucker sideways, and shove it straight. But you can't do that one. Still
It was awesome.
Very well done by Travis Kelce, who I think is going to have a career in the WWE whenever he gets done on the turf. The guy would be an automatic. Something about tight ends.
They keep saying that George Kittle could do real
Dude,
well.
Kittle's a huge. Kittle would be insane.
And I think so, but I mean, my favorite would be Travis Kelce. That dude.
Kittle and Kelce could run the tag team circuit for years.
They should be a tag team duo. What would you call them? They'd have a pretty cool nickname.
I don't know. It'd be awesome though.
Yeah. And then after that, we get the Kelce Bowl. But the people have been calling it the Andy Reid Bowl because it's his new team versus his old team. Coached the Eagles for like 15 years. He's been in Kansas City for 10 years. That's cool. But it's the Kelce Bowl. You got two brothers playing each other. You got Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce, one of the best centers in the league, playing in the Super Bowl. I believe the first time ever we've seen a pair of brothers play against each other in the Super Bowl.
That's true.
So that's going to be really fun to watch. Jason Kelce had an incredible game against San Francisco. Travis Kelce's, a Hall of Fame tight end, and in my opinion now, pushing his way into the argument as greatest tight end of all time. Gronk has held that for a while, and he kind of took over from Tony Gonzalez. I think that you have an argument right now, especially if they win, that Travis Kelce's the greatest tight end of all time.
Who you take, Kelce or Gronk, both in their prime?
Kelce.
I take Gronk.
I think I take Kelce because I don't know. I like Gronk has that brute force about him that like was unstoppable, but there's just something about watching Kelce. If Kelce had like Gronk had Brady his whole career. If Kelce had Mahomes his whole career, he didn't get Mahomes till he was like 33 or like 31 years old.
What?
Travis Kelce's like 36.
That can't be true.
He's in his 30s. I promise you that.
Well, even if you didn't, I mean, he had what?
He's 33.
And how long has Mahomes been playing?
18 was his first year.
He's had like 5 or 6 years with Mahomes.
Yeah, but you had like 10, 11 years in two different teams with Tom Brady and Gronk.
Yeah, but Gronk didn't play with Brady for more than 6 or 7 years, did he?
I think he did, right?
I don't know. Gronk didn't play forever.
No, he doesn't have like a long list of playtime, but he played 11 years with Tom Brady.
Yeah,
10
I'm
or
still
11.
taking Gronk, dude. I think Gronk, as far as being dominant, I mean, Gronk would go out there and have games with just one-on-one press coverage. Go get up there, go get 11 catches, 180-something yards, 3 touchdowns. Like Gronk he would be open even when he wasn't open. Like Kelce's great. By no means, I mean, it's super close. But I just think Gronk was he's so physical.
Kelce was good. I mean,
maybe after the run, I think, is the tiebreaker where I go with Gronk. Because after the run, tackling Gronk, you had to throw your entire body in front of him and hope it tripped him up.
Yeah.
Kelce, you can take down. Gronk was going to try to hurt you.
But I feel like Kelce, that was one of the big difference makers because Gronk's like straight line, go and run everyone over. Kelce can, even though he's big too, he can make you miss.
He wiggles.
He's shifty.
He moves them hips. He's good at it. But so was Gronk.
Travis Kelce has not had a year. His worst year by far was 2021 with Patrick Mahomes, 1,100 yards. Other than that, he hasn't had less than 1,200, 1,300 yards a year with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's that freaking good. And before that, he had 1,000 yards in 2017, 1,115 or 16, 875 and 862. But since Mahomes in 2018, 1,300, 1,200, 1,400, 1,100, 1,300. His touchdowns, have gone up dramatically. He had 5, 5, and 4, and 8 before Mahomes. 10, 5, 11, 9, 12.
He'll probably have the best tight end career ever. But I think if you take it one moment at a time, the prime between Kelce and Gronk, I think Gronk's prime was just unstoppable. I mean, there are games where Kelce will have, a light day. Gronk in his prime, it was impossible. I mean, guys just literally were throwing their entire bodies at him. They destroyed Gronk because everyone was having to torpedo his bones to make him stop running.
Let's see. I'm hitting the compare button on their career stats here. Obviously, career-wise, Rob's going to have more right now because he's played longer. But let's see.
Look at the amount of games. almost identical.
That is true. I didn't notice that. Yeah, and that helps Travis Kelce though, being healthier than
Yeah.
Gronk, because that was one thing Gronk wasn't always, was super healthy. But playoffs. Okay, those are like tackle stats. What the heck is this?
Yeah, I don't know, man. You got the numbers all screwed up. It's only showing you 2 years, but
No, it's not showing me 2 years. It's showing me per game instead of totals.
all right, whatever. I don't want to get caught up in the numbers, but
Well, the numbers is kind of where the argument is, but
yeah, but there are no numbers there.
yeah, it's weird. I don't
It's
know.
hard to go on the numbers when you don't have any of the numbers.
All right, I get it. I messed the thing up, but you see what I'm saying. I think that Travis Kelce has a legit argument there.
All right, so looking forward to the Super Bowl. Who you got?
I've been back and forth already, man. I think I'm going to go Kansas City.
Okay.
And I think it's because I thought that the Eagles were the better team against San Francisco yesterday. And now I think when you look at the defenses, I think the Chiefs' defense is playing really good football right now. Eagles' defense is elite. You've got elite weapons for Jalen Hurts. But when it comes down to which quarterback is going to make the bigger play, which offense is going to make a better play, I trust Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes to do that.
Chiefs
more
are
than
a,
I do the Eagles.
are a 2-point underdog.
I know. They opened, I want to say the Eagles opened up as a favorite. It went back to the Chiefs and then went right back to the Eagles.
Yeah, a lot of flip-flopping.
I'll take Kansas City. I think it's going to be a really – I think if your expectation of this football game is to be a shootout with Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, you're going to be disappointed. I think you're going to get a really, really good competitive Super Bowl that's going to have opportunistic scoring. You still might get like a 27-24 Super Bowl, but it's going to come at opportune times, right? Like yesterday's AFC Championship game did. I think it's going to be a really fun chess match to watch. Who's going to make, and that's why I think the Chiefs are going to win it, because when the defenses aren't giving up a ton of points, it's going to come down to who can make the bigger plays, and that's going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Man, these are two really good teams.
Very good team. The Eagles are so good. So good.
I feel like I want to side with the Chiefs, too. Just because this Eagles team, it's their first time here.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Reed, Mahomes, Kelsey, those guys have been in this spot before. And you know, the first time for a guy in the Super Bowl, it can be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes win his first one?
No.
There you go.
His first Super Bowl, yes, he did.
He win it. He lose his second one. Was
He
that?
lost the second one to Tom. He lost to Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game, then won the Super Bowl, and then lost the Super Bowl, and then last year lost in the AFC Championship game, and then won the AFC Championship.
Sirianni and the Eagles, too, very aggressive. Went forward on some fourth down. I mean, they're always going to go for it if they think they got a chance. I wonder if Sirianni plays into the, I mean, like the thing I always talk about when teams play Alabama and they try to go for it because they feel like they need to stay in the game, or they gotta gain one on them because it's Alabama.
I don't think
Or
you can do
it's
that
the
against
Chiefs. Like I got to make a play here because if I punt, you know what, they're going to score down here. I wonder if they play themselves.
The Eagles are good enough this year to not have to do that, though, so I hope they don't do that.
Right.
I think they're good enough defensively to not have to do that. Now, Patrick Mahomes is going to have his, Kelsey's going to have his, and there's going to be some points, but I think the Eagles are good enough to where you're not scared that the Chiefs are going to score every time they touch the ball.
The first time the Eagles have a 4th and short, I think the result of what happens there is going to strongly dictate how the next half of the game is. Like, I think if they go for a fourth down, think about it. First drive, they're driving, they're moving, but they're on like the 38. It's a long field goal. Got 4th and 3. They go for it, and they don't get it. Huge momentum shift. Chiefs get the ball. They drive down and score a touchdown. Now the Eagles really feel like they have to battle.
Did you
Should
see
be
that?
interesting.
Did you see that stat yesterday? That, I mean, oh my gosh, the broadcast booth could not get enough of that stat. That the Chiefs were like on 3rd and 1, or only 50% conversion this season. They've only converted 50% of their 3rd and 1s this year. I mean, every time that came up, 3rd and short, 4th and short, like they're only 50%. That's unbelievable. I don't know why. And then every time they freaked out about that stat, they showed you exactly why they're only 50% on the year. That's because on 3rd and short, instead of running the ball, which they did a couple of times, Patrick Mahomes on a gimpy ankle would drop back and throw it 30 yards. Like, I wonder why. They're taking big shots because they know they could get it on 4th down. So that didn't surprise me much when I saw their play calling, but I like the Chiefs in this one. I think it's going to be a really, really good football game. Patrick Mahomes is going to get a second. But you could convince me in these next 15 minutes if you wanted to that the Eagles would win it because they are very good.
Well, just on the flip side, like I was saying, if the Eagles, if they blow it on fourth down, they give the momentum the other way. If the Eagles defense goes out there and they get a pick of Mahomes or something, they make him look like a mortal. That defense is going to have crazy confidence the rest of the game. It's going to make Mahomes a little more nervous going forward. Going to put the Eagles in great field position. I think it's all about that first like game-changing play. Who's going to make it? I think that'll set the tone.
So, how many Alabama players are on either side in this one that you have playing? Because I know for the Eagles you have Devontae, Jalen, but for Kansas City I couldn't think of any off the top of my head.
Well, there's Landon Dickerson for the Eagles as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know on the defense if they have any. For the Chiefs, I don't think so.
Okay. I couldn't remember because I was asked, yesterday who I was pulling for, where were the Oklahoma boys? Well, there were plenty on Cincinnati. There are a few.
Where's Nick Bonito?
Where is he?
Yeah.
I'm not sure where he is anymore.
It's the first name that popped in my head.
Why?
I don't
Why
know.
Nick Bonito?
I don't know. It just did.
He was good. He was good at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I don't know why he can't.
Why is he not playing in a title game? Whatever happened to Nick Bonito?
Well, I think he was just selected. Like he drafted this past year.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him. I was just
been in the NFL long. He went to Denver.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
That would be exactly why.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. He was a rookie with Denver this year.
Hey, where the heck is that Okowonkwo?
Obo?
Obo
Is he still in LA?
Okonkwo. I don't know where he's at.
Obo Okoronkwo.
I'll never be able to say that name.
I think it's Obanaya Okoronkwo.
I can say the name of those Oklahoma basketball players. They put a swift beating on the Tide this past
We're going to get
weekend.
to that in just a second.
I figured you would.
But so with Oklahoma in the Super Bowl, you've got with Kansas City, you've got Orlando Brown Jr. on the offensive line, Creed Humphrey on the offensive line as a center. So you got those guys. For the Eagles, you also have Jalen Hurts. You have Lane Johnson on the offensive line. So got Sooners everywhere.
Teddy Lehman, he's out there.
He's not in there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's doing radio in Oklahoma.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. How he can play and do radio at the same time.
He doesn't play.
It's impressive.
He doesn't play.
Iron
Lane
Man.
Johnson.
Bringing back Chuck Bednarik. It's the new Iron Man in the NFL. Not only do I play, but I broadcast.
You know what's crazy about those guys? I know we're getting into the weeds with Oklahoma stuff here, but you saw Trent Williams throw a dude to the ground after the game yesterday.
Did he?
The game was getting close to being over. Oh, yeah. He Subo hip-tossed someone towards the end of the game. But in that 2009 draft, I think it was 09, or it was the 2010 draft. It was after the 09 season. Oklahoma had 3 of the top 4 players taken in that draft. 2 of them are still playing. Sam Bradford went number 1. I can't remember who went to. I can't remember if it went 1, 2, 4 or 1, 3, 4. But Lane Johnson and Trent Williams were both taken in the top 5 in that draft. And they're still playing.
Dude, imagine how great the emergency quarterback rule would have been yesterday for the Niners. Oh, we got to go to the emergency quarterback. Who is it? Mike, it's Sam Bradford. Well, all right. Yeah, let's see what the kid can dust off here. Probably some picks, but maybe some touchdowns.
Oh, he was
Sam Bradford, put him on retainer, NFL all-time quarterback.
That man was.
Who are your
so
8 quarterbacks you'd put into the NFL retainer program right now?
Dadgummit. It wasn't Lane Johnson. It was Gerald McCoy that was taken number 3. Trent Williams went 4. I guess Lane Johnson went another draft. He's still
Sam Bradford, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger,
I think I'd want
Charlie Whitehurst, a.k.a. Clipboard Jesus.
Clipboard Jesus, yeah. Lane Johnson was later than I thought.
Jake Locker.
Jake Walker. He retired like 11 years ago.
Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck would be a good one. I think Andrew Luck would sign on for that.
I think he'd be cool with that. He's like, just one game? Okay. I'll dust it off. That'd be sick. And he can lead a playoff comeback. He's done it before. Cam Newton and Brody Croyle. You put those 8 together, and they go to all the playoff games. We're down to the emergency one. Let's spin the wheel. Pop, 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 Brody Croyle. Pop, Cam Newton. All right, hey, there you go. Let's see what you got.
But you don't get to see the wheel results it's like a shadow, and then it goes to the locker room. Like it's like a WWE entrance. Fireworks, music's blaring.
Right. You're like, whoa, what's that?
Who do we get? And then you see, oh, Sam Bradford.
Yes, Sam Bradford.
Oh, crap. It's okay. We'll just take Johnson. We'll just go with Joe.
We'll just tell Josh Johnson to take a knee. He's already on a knee due to the fractured scapula he's suffering from.
But yeah, man, you mentioned the basketball in Alabama this weekend. Oh my goodness gracious, the SEC Big 12 Challenge got a little sideways. The Big 12 won 7-3. Of the 10 games, they won 7 of them. The home team won most of these games. The only road team to win was Kansas, and Texas Tech, I believe, won at LSU. The home team won all the other games. But the surprise was, like, you had a couple, like Tennessee, higher ranked than Texas. They won that game. Kansas State ranked 5th in the country. They won. Kansas, higher ranked team, won. Mississippi State upset number 11 TCU. Missouri upset number 12 Iowa State. However, West Virginia upset number 15 Auburn. And then the biggest upset of the day was Oklahoma just trashing Alabama, 93-69. And I was asked by NFL Insider, who I'm surprised hasn't jumped in here today. There he is actually right now. He asked me, how they were able to do it.
Grow up.
And I told him this is exactly how they were able to do it. They did exactly what Mississippi State did, but better. Mississippi State on Wednesday had been able to control possession a little longer. They slowed things down. They limited Alabama in transition until late. Alabama hit some shots. Oklahoma did the same thing. The only difference was Oklahoma shot way better than Mississippi State. How well did they shoot? It was the best they've shot all year long. Oklahoma is the 9th place team in the Big 12, right? You know how many teams are in the Big 12? 10. They're not good. They are dead last in the conference, I think, in points per game with 57 points per game. They scored 93. They just shot unbelievable. They did a great job at limiting Alabama scoring, but that still would have been a close game had Oklahoma done something. And Alabama probably still could have won had Oklahoma shot their average on the year. But instead, they just shot the ball really, really well. Oklahoma's had a tough schedule. They've lost a lot of really close games. I'm not saying this is going to be like a turning point for them. I really just think they caught Alabama on a bad day, and Oklahoma had their best day. I don't think this propels Oklahoma into anything special, but at best, it was a wake-up call for Alabama. They got it. That their last 2 games have not been what they've been all year. They've got to start waking up a little bit.
I hate playing Oklahoma in basketball.
You guys won the last one.
It doesn't matter. I hate
Beat
it.
Trae Young and company.
I hate playing Oklahoma in basketball, and I hate them even more when they don't have a star like Trae Young. Trae Young was the best year we had against Oklahoma. You get Oklahoma with a team like, what's that guy's name? Tanner Groves.
Him and his brother.
Oklahoma's always got a dude who looks like he's not even that good at basketball. He's got a beard. He's slow. He looks like he'd be front row to Luke Combs' concert. And that guy goes out there and has 30 and 10 and just dominates down low nonstop. You got that one dude that Jimmy Dykes kept calling Keanu Reeves. He didn't even look like he had ever played basketball before. He's over there shooting the lights out. That one dude, Sherfield or whatever, he's got a career high 30-something points. Mm-hmm. Tanner Groves over there, he's putting a dip in on timeout. So he's like, hold on, let me get a car. And then the whistle blows. He goes, all right, hold him.
But that wasn't out of the ordinary for Grant Sherfield anyway. Like he's
I don't care about Grant Sherfield.
He's pretty good.
I'm caring about the Keanu Reeves lookalike in front row Luke Combs that took Alabama to the dang woodshed, okay? Alabama's got McDonald's All-Americans. Oklahoma has guys that look like they frequent McDonald's.
Tanner Groves kind of looks like a great value Jason Kelsey. A little bit.
He does. He looks like Jason Kelsey. He looks like high school All-American stud Jason Kelsey that, got one offer out of college. It was D3, but he said, I'm going to walk on the team. They gave him a spot like Josh Johnson. He's a nice guy. And then he goes, we got Alabama on the schedule? I think I'm going to go 30 and 10.
6'10", 240. He transferred when him and his brother both transferred to Oklahoma when Porter Moser got the job a couple years ago. So Porter hasn't really done a great job.
Porter knows how to get an unathletic dude to play some valuable power forward. Remember that dude that looked like a bratwurst that played at Loyola Chicago?
Yeah, Farva. We all called him Farva.
He looked like Farva. Yeah, he just looked like he was always greasy, like he was emitting a grease that like pork emits when you cook it. Cameron Krutwig.
That was it. Krutwig. Yeah, it looked like a
Porter Moser
gross
is
Polish sausage.
He is the best coach in the country as long as you just get him a dumpy white guy. He will make that guy into a stud.
Tanner Groves is pretty good. He didn't just have like a great game against Alabama. I mean, he's
What kind of game
good.
did he? What was his stat line against Bama?
He had 14 points. He averages 10. He averaged 11 last year.
How many boards do you have?
He averages 7.5. I don't know how many he had in the game. Let me see. Dana Grove.
I know what he had a
He had
lot
12
of.
boards.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
He got a lot of hard hat points that Alabama likes to measure their own guys with. They got dominated on the hard hat points.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Don't sit there and look at this guy and tell me that wouldn't be a wet dream for Nate Oates to have a hard hat guy like that.
I don't appreciate your terminology, but all
Nate
I'm
Oates
saying
would
is,
love to have that
No,
guy.
he wouldn't. He wouldn't know what to do with him. Porter Moser knows what to do with a guy like that. He takes his weaknesses and enhances it. He says, look, you look like a guy that would be working security at a music concert. We're going to put you down low. We're going to give you a jersey that doesn't fit real well. You're going to wear an undershirt under that jersey too, because everyone knows you wear an undershirt under a jersey, you stink. We're going to play some reverse psychology, and you're going to go out there and dominate the number 2 team in the country.
Alabama was getting beat so bad that coach's kid played 1 minute in the game. Didn't record any stats. Played 1 minute. Jake Moser.
They got one of those Jake Swinney, like Dabo's kid, the one that screwed up that game against.
He looks like he
Wake
specializes
Forest.
in accident law.
They're out there, man.
Called Jake Moser.
Jake's going to have a spot, 16th man of the year, if they ever give out that award.
He played 1 minute, recorded no stats.
Yeah, God, we let Jake Moser get into the game. That's not good.
That's not at all. So
And we didn't even have a chance to have to rip him out because things started getting too close.
So who's Alabama play next? And God bless their soul. Vanderbilt tomorrow. Okay.
Got Vanderbilt at home. Got to go to LSU. LSU kind of stinks. That should get them back on track. Florida's been playing really well though. Got them at home, and then you got to go down to the brightest basketball court on planet Earth. Whatever Auburn calls that arena. Alabama has the dimmest basketball court on earth. Auburn has one that you can see from outer space. Can both of these schools find a medium and just light the court appropriately? I can't even watch Auburn games. It's like
they changed the name this year. It's like Neville Arena or something.
Whoever Neville is, he owns a lot of fluorescent lighting, or he's in the fluorescence business.
Look at that back-to-back. You've got a three-game stretch this next week and a half. You got Vanderbilt at LSU and Florida, winnable games. Then you go to Auburn and to Tennessee, who is now the number 2 ranked team in the country because Alabama got smacked around. They switched spots. Alabama's down to number 4.
That's brutal.
So,
but hey, who went into Auburn and got a win the other day?
who was it? It was Texas A&M.
Texas A&M went in there, got a W. West Virginia got a W against them. Granted, it was at home, but
Yeah.
Auburn and Alabama both kind of showing some.
I would imagine Auburn's going to play up in that game. Alabama's the better.
Both of them are. I mean,
Alabama's
no doubt,
better than Auburn this year. Alabama has the better basketball team, but going into Auburn, they're going to play up for that game.
It's going to be insane and very bright.
Ethan says,
Why is it so bright?
Ethan says Tanner Groves looks like someone on the Valley CW version of Yellowstone.
Yes, dude.
He's the CW cowboy.
Yes. He does.
I like that.
CW Yellowstone went 14-12 against us, man.
That's the best game they'll play all year. Oklahoma's not going to have some revelation this year all of a sudden. They kind of crumble in close games. So had that game been close, y'all would have won. They're not that great. They just had their best game of the year. Alabama's got to work on themselves. Y'all will be fine. You've got 3 games to get ready for a big road slate at Auburn and then at Tennessee. And finally, before we go, I watched a little NBA basketball this weekend because I'm a Celtic fan and they were playing the Lakers at home. And this was a weird game. Late, it ended up going to overtime, in which the officiating got a little Celtic heavy. And at the end of the game, LeBron James goes up to break the tie and win the game and doesn't get it. And it goes to overtime. That was at the Horn. It goes to overtime. And you're thinking, all right, LeBron's over there overreacting. You're thinking, okay. Well, you look at the replay, Jason Tatum clearly smacks him across the arm. But you would think that like someone just spoiled like Gossip Girl for LeBron James over here. Like his favorite show just got spoiled. That happened to my wife. His favorite show got spoiled or something. The way this dude reacted, I want to know if you think that this was an overreaction or not.
I've heard a lot about this. I haven't seen this full video either.
Now, keep in mind, this is a game in January, and this is LeBron reacting. And they didn't lose. They didn't lose in that moment. They ended up losing the game. But it went to overtime after this play. This is what happened. If this is an overreaction.
Excuse me, and it's now overtime. LeBron James so upset. Regulation is over. We go to the 5-minute OT.
You have to, when it's over, rewind to the beginning because before he goes down, like he just got hit by a truck. He's jumping around, screaming, hollering.
The man looks at the officiating staff and says, "Terrible."
Let's see.
Oh, it's a foul. He hacks him on the line. It's a foul.
Wow.
Foul.
Clear foul.
They don't call it, and then he goes hopping. The beginning's the best part. He goes just hopping around.
Excuse me.
It even goes beyond that before that.
Wow.
But the best part about LeBron James completely overreacted. He is a drama princess. They again, that didn't cost him the game. You still had 5 minutes as the best basketball player on the planet right now to go in and finish. It's a 0-0 ball game going into overtime, and they lost. So he didn't get it done in overtime. That did not lose them the game. The game was tied. However, the best part about that was after that was over, the Celtics started overtime with a technical foul on the Lakers because Patrick Beverly, he went and grabbed a camera from one of the photo guys and brought it to the official, and he went, "Hey, that's a foul." And the official,
Oh, that's good.
and then Patrick was walking it back to the guy, and he, "Foul, that's a foul." That was awesome. I thought that was great. I appreciate the tech as well, but that was pretty awesome. But LeBron is such a child. Are you kidding me? Would you see that? You know what I should have done? I should have played that for you first and had you guess what happened. Because you would have thought that someone had walked out there and, like, Kevin Wared themselves. Like, their bone just stuck out through their knee. Like, oh, God, no.
And like, you just got horrible news.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
You lost all your money in crypto.
all your sponsors pulled. Dude.
You're broke, dude.
Your mom did sleep with Delonte West. Oh, God.
If LeBron had that kind of acting in Space Jam 2, I think it's a movie that we would have cared about. And it's a shame to see that he leaves it all on the court. Because Bugs Bunny and the Toon Squad didn't deserve that.
Did they
And
win that game, by the way?
I don't
didn't
know.
see
I
it.
ain't never watched it. Dude.
I didn't either.
But, you know, I don't ever hear people talk about it. Like, oh, man, remember that thing from Space Jam 2? No, you never hear that.
That's because LeBron messed up in just trying to copy MJ and doing a sequel to MJ's movie. It's going to get compared to a movie that really wasn't that great, but we love it because we were kids when it came out. I'm 30 years old. I'm not going to sit down and enjoy Space Jam 2. He should have made his own movie, original movie. Did Shaq go and try to copy MJ with Space Jam? No, he was a genie, right?
That's right.
Shaq was a
he
genie.
said no. All-Star and Blue Chips with Nick Nolte.
You see any Looney Tunes in that movie? I don't think so.
Oh, man, I had the Blue Chips trailer ready to go, and now the computers are going to forget how it works.
Oh. There's not one Looney Tune in that movie.
I should have reacted like LeBron when that didn't work. That's how I want to react. That's how LeBron reacts how I feel when this stupid machine the buttons don't work the way it's supposed to. You know how I feel about LeBron. That's the corniest dude in sports. I mean, he's about to break the all-time scoring record, though, in basketball. He needs every point he can get. He's an old man. Those knees can go at any time. He's putting in a lot of minutes.
45 points in that game.
Yeah, but he's almost got Kareem beaten. The all-time scoring leader in the NBA. LeBron, a man who's been measured against MJ his entire life. So, I mean, we can't really blame him for making Space Jam. That's kind of how he was conditioned. You have to be measured against MJ. If you're going to be as good as MJ, you got to make a Space Jam movie, apparently.
No, dude.
But if
do
he
your
gets the
own
Kareem
movie.
record, then that's something he's got over everybody. And he needs every point he can get, man. All right? He's an older man.
41 points in that game. 41.
He's playing 44 minutes a game. He's been playing 44 minutes a game every year for like 20 years.
Do you think we can pressure other athletes, other basketball players, into making Space Jams if we just compare them to Michael Jordan? Like you just said, like LeBron's conditioned to make that movie because he's being compared to him the whole time. Like, can we get Space Jam 3 with Luka Doncic? By just pressuring him and comparing him to Michael Jordan from here till the end of his career?
It's a good chance, yeah.
God, who'd be the right one to go after to get to start a Space Jam?
Boban.
Tanner Groves. I agree.
Tanner Groves. Looks like a roadie.
He's 6'10". He's a big dude. 6'10", 240, 230, something like that.
Keanu Reeves, man. That guy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he thinks he's played in the Space Jam before. Like we actually watched John Wick 3 yesterday morning. before all these games started. And I told my wife, I was like, I'm a huge Keanu Reeves fan because he's been in some awesome movies, and he's awesome. He does like his own gun stunts in those movies and everything. He's awesome. But he's kind of like Paul Walker, in that we love him because we love the movies that he's in. He's not the best actor, dude. No. He's not the best.
That's an awesome way to start your super wild card divisional championship weekend, though.
John Wick 3?
Hey, before we get going with championship games, we're watching John Wick.
I'd seen the first two. I had never seen the third one. Never got around to seeing the third one. So
you know, as a kid, always, you know, like playing football, anytime you went on a trip to go play somebody that was like further than 45 minutes away, like they'd try to get the bus with the TV on it.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you took like we're going to Montgomery or Birmingham for a tournament, like, oh, let's get the bus with the TV on it. And they'd always play football movies. But I feel like if they played a John Wick movie before we went out there, we're all about to, like, we're going to win by 50.
Yeah, dude.
You know? We're just going to go out there and dominate.
You show me and Remember the Titans where John Wick, or where someone curb stomps Boban with a library book.
Yeah, I mean, Varsity Blues, you know, I see that dude from Dawson's Creek in there, and I'm like, I don't feel like playing football. I don't know what I'm watching. I don't feel like I'm watching the CW version of Yellowstone. I don't need that. You show me John Wick, who the whole basis of that movie is like, he's like a hitman. And then he gets out, but then he goes back in for a little bit, and those people break his dog's neck, and then he murders like 40,000 people.
Yeah, dude, he
that,
went on.
You know,
he's currently on a 3-movie killing streak because someone killed his dog.
He's got like 3 bad guys he's looking for, and a significant amount of the population has to get shot in the face in order for him to get there. Like, where do they find all these goons? Like, the Taco Bell down the street doesn't have enough people to stay open past 10. John Wick's finding warlords that have 4,000 goons ready to go down for him.
That's a good question.
In a 2 hour. Where are they hiring?
It's been 3 movies. They've got to be running out of goons. Right?
John Wick 4, if it doesn't reflect the crisis we have in the job market, then I might have to check out of the series. Where are they hiring all of these goons? What kind of benefits are they giving to these people?
Where's their contract?
It's insane.
Is there an extra incentive if John Wick comes up in conversation, like if this is your base salary or this is your benefits, if you know, but this is the John Wick package.
I ordered a pizza on a Saturday and they were like, we can't deliver it to you, we don't have enough people. And like, anybody can, like, you don't have to be trained or if you can drive a car and hand somebody a pizza, you can deliver it.
Well, I think
they can't find anybody. John Wick finds bad guys who have 4,000 jiu-jitsu trained ninjas ready to get popped in the face at all times.
Well, I think that's exactly why you can't get why we are having a job crisis, and you couldn't get a pizza because they're all actually currently chasing John Wick and John Wick 4. They're all assassins.
John Wick 5 should be him addressing the unemployment rate.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Finally answering for his sins. Mm-hmm. You know, we're always talking about all the bad things he does in the underworld. When are we going to get to the effects he's having on the overworld? Okay, because the rest of us are out here suffering.
Do you think that we could do enough on Twitter to get Joe Biden to put up a picture of John Wick and say this guy's to blame for the unemployment crisis we're having? Unemployment's at an all-time high because of this guy right here. He's killing all our pizza delivery guys, killing our sushi guys.
Babe, we got to find something else to do for dinner. The pizza guy just called. He said their dude called out. He got shot in the face at a club, execution style, and he won't be able to deliver our pizza now. And the next 180 dudes that he knows that could fill the spot, they also were shot. So
one of them called me while he was getting shot. He just kept screaming, Baba Yaga, Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I think essentially what they said was carry out or nothing. So do you feel like getting in the car? Or I don't. Yeah, we'll do something else.
Is John Wick the bad guy here?
Hey, he is. He's my bad guy.
You can't get pizza because of John Wick.
Anytime you try to get ice cream at a McDonald's after 9 o'clock, the machine's broken. I don't even think that's a lie anymore. I think it really is broken, and the repairman was shot by John Wick 3 years ago.
Hey, we can't get one in here, dude. We've been trying.
You remember all those commercials with Mike Rowe, the dude from Dirty Jobs, where he's like, Alabama, it's time for you to go to work. They did. They did go to work. And they've all been senselessly put down in the streets by a dark-haired assassin.
Hey,
and now I can't get a Mexican pizza after 10 p.m. It's ridiculous.
It's all Theon's fault from Game of Thrones. He's the one who killed John Wick's dog.
Dude.
And now we have an unemployment crisis.
That puppy goes down, and our job market's been in shambles ever since.
I get it, though, man. You know, you ever lose a dog? You ever hold a puppy in your hand, raise it?
No.
And then have, some drug lord's son kill it?
And then I have a bunch of Russian mercenaries break into my house and snap its neck. I'd probably want to kill 4,000 people, too.
Dude,
but I'll never know.
That's what, honestly, the fourth John Wick could have to improve. Because my one thing with it is like they're all really long, and the action is awesome. Like I love the creativity of like different ways they use to have him beat people up and murder them. But like it does get a little repetitive just watching them over and over again. Having a body count on the next one, put the body count on there, dude.
Bro, bust out some cuffs from time to time. Have a group of people you could re-enter into society. You've been captured by John Wick. You're now into the John Wick re-assimilation program. All right? We're going to get you a job. You're going to deliver pizzas. You're going to work the McFlurry machine. You're going to be making Mexican pizzas at 10 p.m., all right? We're going to get you back in. We're not just going to drop you at the floor of this nightclub. No. We're gonna fix your life. This is what prisons are not doing.
Maybe that's what the end of the fourth one is, and in the middle, that's where they hit it. Like the middle is the climax of the movie where he's about to like kill Winston and everybody, and he's like, "Well, John, hey, we have to come to a treaty here, dude. Like our Walmart can't stay open 24 hours anymore. It shuts down at 11 p.m., dude. Can we please figure this out?"
John Wick 5, he just manages a temp agency the whole movie, and makes sure that people get to work. All right.
Oh my God.
And that there's no fatalities. Everyone's fine. Yeah. Everyone's getting benefits. Everyone's got a better 401k package because of what John Wick does in the fifth movie.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
I think he needs to open a temp agency with all of his other Keanu Reeves characters. Like whichever one he was, Bill or Ted, one of those guys, he needs to be there answering phones.
Now you're just being ridiculous. Okay. That's just stupid.
Neo can be there. He can be like he's your IT guy. He lives in the computers.
We should probably put a bow on this bad boy.
Oh, yeah. All right. Speaking of get to work, we've got to go wrap up the rest of our work day. So that's Tricky Ricky. I'm Tony Mack. We'll be back on Wednesday from 2 until 3 to go over, I don't know, more John Wick and the
I wouldn't have to
employee
get
crisis.
back to work right now if my assistant wasn't pried between a Dodge Charger and a road barrier 6 years ago at the docks. He was just visiting his friend who works at the wharf. Next thing you know, I'm laid out next to a packing container, and my blood's falling out.
Coming up Wednesday, more on John Wick and the employment crisis here in the United States. I'm Tony Mack. That's Tricky Ricky. We'll see you Wednesday.
It's time for you to answer for your sins, John Wick, and get this American market back where it belongs.